now Adam is going to talk about free art with Creating Gift.
Okay. Alright, hello everyone.
Hello.
I'll stand back here. My name is Adam Greenberg. Manasa 반갑습니다. I'm going to talk about Creating Gift. First, I'd like to show you some photos. These are some pictures that were taken at two past GIC events, last year's GIC Day and the Adios party, the farewell party for the former GIC location. What I love about these photos is that it's people of all different ages and backgrounds, different artistic abilities, family. So what I find that I like most is that this offers perspective through art. And at Creating Gift, my perspective is that art is a gift. And here, that's literal. So that is Creating Gift. So I would like you to consider this your invitation to share original art and the real gifts to be enjoyed in creating, giving, and receiving for free. And yes, shipping too. Creating Gift is an international free art forum for artists and non-artists alike, especially non-artists. So create something and gift it away for free to a total stranger, or be that stranger and enjoy some totally free art. Now why? Why might you do this? Well, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory, and to tell you about that, I want to talk about tonight's watercolor. Tonight's watercolor was my 2010 New Year's resolution to paint and give away free watercolors every day. And yes, shipping too. So this is the origin of Creating Gift. And to better talk about it, I'd like to share with you a news clip. You hit the button on the... let's see.
Most of us have made a New Year's resolution at some point in our lives, and most of us also broke it, a New Year's resolution at one time or another.
As 90s reporter Dave Delosier tells us, one man in Denver is 3 days away now from completing a resolution that is helping people thousands of miles away.
Before this, I didn't really paint at all, since high school, really.
But on the first day of this year,
I started doing it at the beginning of the year. I wanted to draw a picture for my girlfriend.
The very next day, he painted another.
And then on the third day, I thought I just wanted to draw a pirate ship.
And in short order, a New Year's resolution was born. Every day for a year, Adam Greenberg would create a new painting.
And so I thought I could maybe do this.
He started posting each new painting on a Facebook page entitled Tonight's Watercolor. And before you know it, he had hundreds of followers.
And then I believe it was a week later when the earthquake in Haiti happened. And, you know, I'd been posting them on Facebook, and friends had been commenting, can I have this piece, or I like that one. So I was encouraged. I just thought, I'd make them available, give them away to people who donated to earthquake relief.
365 days in a year, 362 paintings. A hummingbird makes 363.
Every morning when I wake up, I never really know what I'm going to paint that night, which is pretty cool.
Some to honor people like Martin Luther King Jr., some make you think, some make you laugh.
Sometimes I'll sit here and be like, what do I want to paint?
Outside his window is a world that inspires.
And then over time, I began to see the creative benefits of doing something like this every day, making a little bit of time for yourself.
But as the time and the days left in 2010 draw to a close, so too does his resolution.
I probably won't paint every day this next year. I think my New Year's resolution for 2011 will be to take my vitamins every day.
From his window, Adam Greenberg has painted 363 days of life, 2 to go. And he's coloring a brighter future for earthquake victims along the way.
So it's cool, people are picking it up in their own way, yeah.
In Denver, this is Dave Delosier 9 News.
You can almost see how he, progressed even in his art over that time. Adam Greenberg's watercolors have now raised $475 for Haiti earthquake relief to this point. This story came to us through a news tip. We'd love to hear your ideas of what stories you'd like us to go check out. So share them with us at 90s.com. Click on the news tips icon.
He should have a little bit more time, because just taking a vitamin is taking a whole lot of a day versus an elaborate painting.
I
He's
feel
pretty talented.
confident that he'll take his vitamins, because it'll sit down to watercolor 365 days.
Right.
Certainly he'll take a vitamin, right?
Okay. So that was what tonight's watercolor was. That was 4 years ago. And I had been wanting to find a way to share this experience with other people, so it took me a while to formulate Creating Gift. This is probably my favorite painting that I did with tonight's watercolor. I did it on March 21st. I remember so much about this night. Pretty much all the paintings I've done, I remember what was happening in my life at that time or on that day, where I was, the people I was with. My friend Matt, I was sitting with him, I asked him, what should I paint? He said, paint a spaceship. So this is what I made. As someone who never painted before January 1st, 2010, I never considered myself an artist. So as a non-artist, it was kind of cool to me as I would send my watercolors for free to people around the country and later on to different parts of the world. People would send me photos back of what they have done with my art. So it was cool to receive some pictures framed or on a refrigerator, on a nightstand, on a wall next to some cool instruments. I think this is seeing what happens to the work you do, I think, is one of the greatest gifts that I've received. For a fish being placed in a jar, that's pretty appropriate. And so in doing that, I learned some things. I learned when to call it quits when painting. This probably took me 6 seconds to make, and I said, I'm going to stop there tonight. Sometimes you just feel, oh, I'm done. I don't want to add any more. Keep it simple. And I also learned that creativity comes in waves. This is a piece that I'm not particularly proud of. I don't really like this piece. In fact, of all the watercolors that I did in 2010, I could probably show you much more that I don't like than ones that I do like. Here's another one. Not my most creative, but someone else liked it, and they requested it, and I sent it to Berkeley, California, and she sent me this photo back. So I learned that everyone has different tastes, and we shouldn't prejudge our work before we've had the chance to share it with someone else. And this one, I don't know what this is. I don't really like this one. I actually posted this photo on the internet and said to the world, I will send this to you for free. Needless to say, I still have it. This one, just a black hole. Not much creativity there. But so creativity, as I learned throughout that year by making time for myself to do it, creativity comes in waves. We don't always feel inspired. Elizabeth Gilbert has an awesome TED Talk about creativity. She calls it Your Elusive Creative Genius. And it's rare today that we say someone is a genius, but we would say, oh, that person is a genius. But she tells a great story of the origin of the word genius. And it used to be not that someone is a genius, but that you have a genius. That we all have a creative spirit who is assigned to us. And sort of maybe like Dobby the house elf. They might come out when we're working on a creative project and help us. And this kept people humble. Because if your work was really amazing, well, you can't take full credit for it. And if your work was kind of terrible, well, that's okay. Everyone knew your genius was a little lame. As I watched this for the first time after I had done tonight's watercolor painting for a year, it completely resonated with me because there were many times when my creative genius did not show up, and I know that feeling. When I lived in California during that year, I would paint with neighbors and friends, and I would meet new people, I would meet friends' friends, and I would ask them one particular question: would you like to paint with us? And I could almost always predict the answer. I've heard this response more times than I can count. Would you like to paint with us? No thanks, I can't paint. So many people say that. Some of you might be saying that to yourself right now, and I hope you're not. I would say yes, you can. You just don't do it often. Maybe ever. So you just got to do it. You just got to practice. We need to say yes to ourselves more often. Here's a fact. Humans are artists, and you're human, so you're an artist. Deal with it. Do you know who this man is? Anyone?
Picasso.
Very good, yeah. Pablo Picasso. Picasso famously said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up." And for many of us, that's unfortunately true. We've been sort of socialized out of our creativity. In fact, Sir Ken Robinson has another great TED Talk about how many of our education systems around the world kill creativity. And I think that's very unfortunate. Certainly, that's not good. Here's our world. And we have a lot of problems. We've got issues. But there are solutions. And when we have this socialized fear of art, and we keep art at an arm's length, that's not conducive to creativity. And if we want to address some of the issues that we have in this world, the bridge to that is creativity. Solutions to the problems that we have will take some creativity and some other things. So remember that your art is important. You might be saying to yourself, well, who would want my art? Number one, I would say to that, you'd be surprised. Give yourself the opportunity to be surprised. Let others surprise you. And number two, gifting your art is secondary. That's why I called it Create and Gift. Create and Gift is not about making a painting. Create and Gift is first about creating a practice, an intention for creativity. And it's not about showing the world your artist self. It's about showing yourself your artist self. Young-ga Kim is an author, Korean author. He also has a TED Talk. I like TED Talks. He talks about how you can be an artist, how we are all artists already. We just don't do it that often. So maybe you might make some art and you would log on to the Facebook page Create and Gift, which you can find through createandgift.org. And you might post a painting and you say, oh, I made this tonight. And then you're about to click post. And then you, I don't know. I don't know who wants this. And you click to leave Facebook or close it or change the website. And Facebook comes up with this, are you sure? This moment right here, when you are hesitating in your head, that's the resistance. That's resistance in our head. Anyone know who this man is?
Seth Godin.
Yeah, this is Seth Godin. If you Google the name Seth, his website is the first to come up. Seth Godin is a world-renowned author, entrepreneur, and speaker. He's been involved in some of the biggest projects. And Seth Godin talks about the resistance and the lizard brain. The lizard brain, he says, is the reason you're afraid, the reason you don't do all the art you can, the reason you don't ship when you can. The lizard brain is the source of the resistance. So what is the lizard brain? The lizard brain is that part in our species that makes us different from other animals. It's evolutionarily what we've developed from, but what might have been referred to as the sympathetic nervous system, to fight or flight, right? When we're scared of something, when we hesitate. And this is something that artists battle with, is that resistance, that fear of sharing part of yourself, expressing yourself with others. So when this moment comes up and you think, oh, I don't want to post that, that's the lizard brain. That's your lizard brain and resistance. Or when you see an attractive person and you want to talk to them, but you're scared and shy and you don't. Or when you think about giving a speech and public speaking. Like for me, my lizard brain was ringing just before this. And the resistance is a good thing. It means that we're challenging ourselves. So we should use that resistance that we feel as a compass and a tool. And if you are feeling scared or nervous about something, it means you're doing something right. So instead you should say, okay, I need to go towards that, and use it like a compass. I have a goal with Create and Gift. Here's my goal. I want to fill the wall of the Create and Gift Facebook group with amateur art. And even bad art. What might be considered bad art is good. Because what that means is that these are people who are trying and putting their art out there for the world. That's more impressive to me than someone posting something that's genuinely really awesome art. So let's take a risk together and say to the world, yes, I made this. And it might not be great by any traditional standard, and that's fine. It's my gift to one of you. And that's what's pretty great. I asked some people who were involved in the early bit of Create and Gift and who I worked with in tonight's watercolor about values that they felt were embraced. And people said that when creating, they valued setting an intention to do so, making time for ourselves, expressing their creativity, working through frustration, because it won't turn out always how you think it will in your head. So you have to let go of expectation too. Patience, flexibility, and making a practice. Joy, and appreciating art. When giving, we practice confidence, right? As an artist, giving something to someone, that takes confidence to say, oh, do they even want this? Is it good enough? Takes a bit of confidence. And non-attachment, you have to be willing to let go of your work. Generosity, of course. You're making a connection, and there's joy there. And hopefully inspiration. And you also have to remember not to take rejection personally. Maybe you've made something, but somebody doesn't want it. No, that's okay. At least you put it out there. One thing to remember with Create and Gift is it takes two people for that transaction. When receiving, we have to ask for what we want. So you might put something online to share it, and nobody comments on it. Nobody says they want it. Well, maybe we have to remember that the other person has to ask for what they want. It's a two-way street. Joy, gratitude, appreciating art, inspiration, motivation, and I'm sure there are some others too. So this is all free, you might be asking, including shipping? And the short answer to this is yes, but it's not completely free. We do live in a world where cash is king and money is still necessary in some ways. But the more accurate yet longer answer requires another question for us to ask ourselves. And that I would invite you to ask yourself, free for whom? Free for me, the artist, or free for my art's recipient? Free for the person that I'm giving it to, right? Because for one of the two people in that transaction, it is financially free. Some people have already reported that the small price of the shipping cost that they paid to send their art to someone has been well worth that cost. Knowing that they've sent their work to someone, that somebody might enjoy their art. Sometimes the recipient might share a photo of what they do with it. And I would also add that I would love to work toward producing a fund that will one day actually allow artists to send art for free around the world, completely for free. That would cover that. So how do I participate? You can go to creatinggift.org or search Facebook for Create and Gift. You can browse and request available art, or you can create and post your own art and give it away to whoever asks for it. And make a connection. So I say simply, try. Your art is important. Thank you.